Ah!
On a warm September evening in 2020, the tranquility of a Florida neighborhood was shattered by gunshots. What unfolded that night would become a complex saga of love, ambition, and alleged deception, culminating in a controversial case of claimed self-defense. Ashley Benefield, a young aspiring ballerina with dreams of creating her own dance company, stood at the center of this tragedy. Her husband, Douglas Benefield, lay fatally wounded, his life slipping away as emergency services rushed to the scene. The events leading to this moment stretched back years, weaving a tapestry of hope, disappointment, and mounting tension. Their story began in the summer of 2016 at a Republican fundraiser in Palm Beach, Florida. Ashley Byers, then 24, was working for Donald Trump's campaign, focusing on rallying evangelical voters. Douglas Benefield, 30 years her senior, was a widowed former Navy pilot turned successful consultant. Despite their age difference, they connected over shared conservative values and a mutual interest in firearms. The whirlwind romance that followed was as swift as it was unexpected. Within a mere 13 days of meeting, Ashley and Douglas tied the knot in Charleston, Douglas's hometown. The ceremony, officiated by Douglas's friend Trip Cormany, an Episcopal pastor, was a modest affair with few guests. Cormany harbored reservations about the hasty union but agreed to perform the ceremony out of respect for his friend. The newlyweds' happiness, however, was soon overshadowed by familial tensions. Douglas's 15-year-old daughter, Eva, struggled to accept her new stepmother, who was only 9 years her senior. The situation was further complicated by Eva's recent loss of her mother, Renee, to an undiagnosed heart condition just months earlier. The once close relationship between Douglas and Eva began to fray under the strain of this new family dynamic. Undeterred by these challenges, Ashley and Douglas set their sights on realizing Ashley's dream of creating a unique ballet company. With Douglas's business acumen and Ashley's artistic vision, they founded the American National Ballet, A&B, in Charleston. Their ambitious goal was to create a nonprofit ballet company and for-profit school that would welcome dancers of all nationalities and body types. As the summer of 2017 approached, the couple began holding auditions, attracting around 40 dancers from across the globe. However, just as the project was gaining momentum, Ashley announced her pregnancy and withdrew from active participation in the company's operations. The burden of managing the fledgling ballet fell squarely on Douglas's shoulders. Despite his best efforts, including hiring ballet master Michael Wise to train the dancers, the absence of Ashley, the artistic visionary behind the project, began to take its toll. Legal troubles soon followed, with dancers and choreographers filing lawsuits alleging breach of contract after being dismissed just weeks into their employment. The strain of managing the struggling ballet company began to affect Douglas and Ashley's relationship. Arguments became more frequent, with tensions between Ashley and Eva continuing to simmer. In a shocking incident that would later feature prominently in court proceedings, Douglas, typically described as calm and non-confrontational, lost his temper during an argument and fired a gun into the ceiling of their home. By late August 2017, citing complications with her pregnancy, Ashley returned to Florida to stay with her mother. Meanwhile, Douglas remained in Charleston, desperately trying to keep the ballet company afloat. His efforts proved futile, and by October 23, 2017, the remaining dancers were called to a meeting, asked to sign non-disclosure agreements, and summarily fired. Ashley, now distancing herself from the failed venture, took to social media to criticize the company's new management, including her husband. She lamented the destruction of their original vision and expressed shame at how the situation had been handled. The American National Ballet, once a beacon of hope and innovation in the dance world, had crumbled, leaving Douglas with significant financial losses and a strained marriage. Upon returning home from a farewell party for the A&B dancers, Douglas was confronted with a devastating discovery, a 4-page letter from Ashley, detailing his perceived shortcomings and accusing him of possessive and controlling behavior. She cited the gun incident as a primary reason for fearing for her life and the safety of their unborn child. What followed was a tumultuous period marked by a series of increasingly serious allegations from Ashley against Douglas. In late November 2017, Douglas, still hopeful for reconciliation, sent Ashley a birthday gift, a beautiful tea set with specialty tea designed for pregnant women. Ashley's response was to file charges against Douglas, accusing him of attempting to poison her through the tea. Although investigations found no evidence to support these grave accusations, Ashley persisted. She sent hair samples to an independent laboratory, which reported higher than normal levels of aluminum, zinc, and other metals. 3 weeks before giving birth, Ashley checked herself into Tampa General Hospital, claiming that her unborn child had been exposed to heavy metals in utero due to Douglas's alleged poisoning attempts. The accusations didn't stop there. Ashley went on to claim physical abuse, despite a lack of evidence, and alleged that Douglas had held her captive in their Charleston home. She even accused him of stalking her in Florida, despite his being hundreds of miles away in Charleston. Hospital staff, erring on the side of caution, provided Ashley with an alias, Christina, for her protection. 3 days after her admission, doctors performed a C-section, delivering a healthy baby girl. However, Ashley's fears for her child's well-being persisted as she continued to worry about potential poisoning effects. Throughout this ordeal, Douglas maintained his innocence and his desire to reconcile. He sent numerous text messages to Ashley, pleading with her to reconsider and give their family another chance. His efforts were met with more accusations, as Ashley reported Douglas to Florida Child Protective Services, alleging mistreatment of his older daughter, Eva. Investigations into Douglas's behavior, including psychological evaluations, found no evidence of danger or instability. The court dismissed Ashley's claims of poisoning, with Judge Diane Moreland stating that there was not the slightest credible evidence that Ms. Benefield had ever been poisoned or suffered from any illness caused by any poison. This ruling opened the door for Douglas to finally meet his newborn daughter. In a surprising turn of events, Ashley appeared cooperative during their first meeting, handing over the baby cordially and even suggesting they spend time together as a family. For nearly a year, it seemed that Ashley, Douglas, and their daughter might find a way forward as a family. Douglas even moved into a neighboring apartment in Florida to be close while respecting Ashley's space. However, this period of relative calm was shattered in August 2019 when Douglas noticed an engagement ring on Ashley's finger during a routine child handover. Hiring a private investigator, Douglas discovered that Ashley was dating another man. In November 2019, he filed for divorce. Almost immediately, Ashley resumed filing complaints against Douglas, this time accusing him of inappropriate behavior towards their young daughter. These allegations, like those before, were dismissed due to lack of evidence. In a surprising twist, Douglas announced in 2020 that he and Ashley were going to attempt a reconciliation and move to Maryland as a family. Friends and family watched with bated breath, hoping against hope that this time, the couple could make it work for the sake of their young daughter. It was against this backdrop of tumultuous history and tentative hope that the events of September 27, 2020, unfolded. Douglas arrived at the home where Ashley was staying with her mother, Alicia, to begin packing for their move to Maryland. Initially, the atmosphere was positive, with the couple working together to prepare for their fresh start. Alicia decided to take the couple's young daughter for a walk to a nearby park, leaving Ashley and Douglas alone in the house. It was during this time that the situation rapidly deteriorated. According to Ashley's account, she informed Douglas that she and their daughter would be moving without him, contradicting their previous plans to relocate as a family. When Ashley attempted to leave the house, she claims Douglas grabbed her left arm, yanked her back, and threatened her, saying she couldn't leave him. Fearing for her safety, Ashley retreated to her bedroom and retrieved her legally owned firearm. What happened next is a matter of intense legal scrutiny. Ashley maintains that she pointed the gun at Douglas and ordered him to leave, but he continued to advance towards her. She claims she began shooting out of fear for her life. Douglas fell, fatally wounded, and Ashley fled to a neighbor's house, screaming for help. Neighbors on a dog walk witnessed Ashley running outside with a gun, crying and screaming. Emergency services were called, and Douglas was rushed to a local hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries an hour later. The investigation that followed painted a complex picture. Ashley was not immediately arrested, as authorities began investigating her claim of self-defense. However, 5 weeks after the shooting, on November 4, 2020, Ashley was formally arrested and charged with second-degree murder. She pleaded not guilty and was initially released on bail after spending about 2 weeks in jail. In February 2023, Ashley's defense team filed a 105-page motion to dismiss the case, arguing that she had acted in self-defense. The motion included evidence, documents, and photos to support their case, including images of Douglas's physical condition and alleged injuries sustained by Ashley during the altercation. The defense's strategy hinged on portraying Douglas as physically imposing and potentially dangerous, while presenting Ashley as a vulnerable victim who had endured years of alleged abuse and control. They referenced past incidents, including the gun-firing episode from 2018, to build a narrative of fear and self-protection. However, the prosecution painted a different picture. They argued that the physical evidence at the scene, including the entry wounds on Douglas's body, suggested he was not facing Ashley when she began shooting and had not taken any defensive position. Moreover, no weapon was found on or near Douglas's body. The case has drawn significant attention to Florida's Stand Your Ground law, which allows individuals to use deadly force if they reasonably believe they are in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm, without any duty to retreat. Ashley's defense team invoked this law, shifting the burden to the prosecution to prove that the shooting was not justified. In a crucial ruling, Circuit Court Judge Stephen White denied the defense's motion to dismiss the case. He stated that the totality of the evidence presented during the hearing showed that Ashley's actions were not a single act of necessary self-defense, but rather the culmination of a long, concerted effort. As the case continues to unfold, many questions remain unanswered about the true nature of Ashley and Douglas's relationship. Was Ashley a victim of long-term abuse, driven to a desperate act of self-defense? Or was she, as the prosecution suggests, a manipulative individual who had orchestrated a series of false allegations culminating in a premeditated act of violence? As Ashley awaits trial, the lives touched by this tragedy continue to grapple with its aftermath. Eva, who lost her mother at a young age, now faces the additional trauma of her father's violent death. The ballet dancers whose careers were upended by the collapse of the ANB have moved on, their brief connection to the Benefields a footnote in their own life stories.